Since the beginning of time, people have been fascinated by what lives below the surface of the ocean. They invented stories of monstrous sea creatures that they called the Kraken or the Leviathan. These sea creatures were said to be many-armed and as long as an island. They were known for attacking ships and were frequently held responsible for the deaths of sailors who would jump overboard in fear. Although very few people believe in the Kraken or the Leviathan in this day and age, the modern day equivalent has been the giant squid. Up until very recently, the only information that we had on the giant squid was what we could gather from examining lifeless giant squid that washed up on beaches around the world. These creatures captured the imagination of many ocean explorers, among them Edith Litter. Edith is one of the world's foremost squid experts and decided that she was going to go on an expedition in search of a live giant squid. She began with the information that is common knowledge, that the giant squid are about as large as a school bus, and that they have eyes that are as big as a beach ball. With only these pieces of information, she put together a team of scientists to go on an ocean expedition in search of the squid. While she was preparing, she realized that the submarines that many had used to search for squid in the past emitted very loud sounds underwater from their propulsion mechanisms. She developed a submarine that was much quieter than the average one and hoped that this would not scare the squid away. She also realized that squid had difficulty seeing red light because they were used to living deep in the ocean. Because of this, she used red light on her submarine in the hope that the squid would not be able to see it and wouldn't be frightened of it. She also developed a lure based on the bioluminescent pattern of a jellyfish, one of the squid's main prey. These jellyfish emit a bioluminescent pattern when they are being eaten by a larger animal as a last-ditch attempt to attract a larger predator to eat what is eating them. This bioluminescent pattern was mimicked by a lure that she placed in the front of her camera. That's the real jellyfish, and there's her lure, and you can see how the pattern is almost identical. Prepared with these new innovations, Edith and her team dove into the ocean. As they dove deeper, the first level is the coral reef zone, populated by many of the colorful fish that most of us are familiar with. These fish hunt predominantly by sight, and almost all of the coral reef rely on sunlight to live. As you go deeper into the ocean, you find a zone populated by many of the predatory fish, such as sharks that live at about 300 feet. These sharks and other animals such as tuna and barracuda still hunt predominantly by sight, although many of them develop advanced smell mechanisms as sometimes the light is not sufficient. As you go deeper, the reliance on light becomes less and less. At about 500 feet is the depth at which you find many of the types of octopi. These are distant relatives of the squid, and they hunt mostly through bioluminescence. Many octopus also have bioluminescent body parts which help them attract mates. As you go even deeper, less and less light penetrates, and at about 2,000 feet, the lowest a sperm whale can dive, is where almost all light ceases to exist. Sperm whales would often come up from this depth bearing scars and marks from giant tentacles. At about 3,000 feet, Edith and her team finally saw the giant squid. and they were able to capture some footage from their sub. This is the first footage ever captured of a live giant squid in its natural habitat. You can see how it attacks the camera, thinking that it is a predator eating the bioluminescent lure. By capturing this footage, Edith Witter proved that the giant squid do exist deep within our oceans,